Hey friends, I am downstairs. I kind of have the basement to myself right now, and I am going to redo this Q&A. My apologies for it taking this long, but that's what I get for trying to be fancy with my other camera. So here we are. I put out some Ask Me a Questions on YouTube community page, and then Instagram on both pages, and I got a few questions. So I am going to answer them as best as that I can. I'm gonna try and kind of be on the spot and not elaborate too much on things because I don't want these to be incredibly long. But first question, and the most common question. Let me get some tea here quick. Okay, first question, moving. This was the most common question. Are we moving? Do we have plans to move? Where we're gonna move? If we are moving, is that going to be now or later? So yes, we do have plans to move, but we don't know where. We have no idea. We love Colorado, of course. We haven't explored the state as much as we want. So we really love the western slope of Colorado. That's probably, if we were to move, that's where we would move. We really love Pagosa Springs. We love Ouray, Telluride. Telluride's pretty expensive, so somewhere outside of there, like Ridgeway. We love Del Norte, Durango. Where else have we looked into? We've looked into Glenwood Springs. We've looked into like Rifle and Carbondale and that area. If you're familiar with Colorado, you're probably like, okay, but if you're not, I apologize. They're just epic mountain towns that we would love to live in, but as much as our jobs are pretty common, being a police officer and a teacher, I am an art teacher, and my husband's way of transferring is pretty unique as well. So art teacher jobs don't really come up that often. So I don't know if I would be teaching art. I don't even know if I would be continuing to teach. I would personally love to do something on my own venture. So we do plan on moving. If it's to Colorado, it'd be on the western slope. We also love our hometown of Pennsylvania. We also like the Pacific Northwest. We like Maine. I mean, there's so many places that we could live. The problem with Colorado is the expense. It's almost impossible to afford to live here at this point. So especially with the jobs that we have, unfortunately, working for the community is just not enough right now in Colorado's market. So it depends on how much we would get for the house and things like that. So that leads into the next question, and that was more kids. A lot of people asked if we want more kids. We absolutely do. Right now, the way this house is set up, it's 3 bedrooms, but the bedrooms are on different floors, and it just wouldn't make sense for another child to be in this home. We have always wanted our children to be close in age, and I personally have always wanted multiple children, maybe 5 or 6, but now that we've had 2 and we've experienced all that comes with children, we probably will not be having 5 to 6 children, but never say never. We are planning to expand the family. We just need a little bit more, not even more space, we just need a better layout of a home. And of course, Delilah's sickness kind of halted things. We would like to spend a little bit more time with her before we go and jump our attention to a new baby. So yeah, that is kind of where we're at with more children. And then the next question was skincare and veganism. I believe the comment was, you have great skin. Do you connect that with being vegan? And in a way I do. When I became vegan, I did it overnight, which I would not suggest doing, but I did. It was at a time where we lived in downtown Boulder. I could hike every day. We didn't have kids, and I could really focus on my health and how to properly start supplementing what I was missing from meat and dairy. I was a pescatarian, so I did eat fish. So I just stopped eating fish. That was pretty easy. It was the dairy part that was the hardest. I don't know if you know this, but dairy has something in it that kind of releases this dopamine, and it mimics like this addicting property in your brain. So that is probably why most of us love dairy so much. And of course it tastes delicious, but I chose to take it out of my diet and that really contributed to some positive hormonal changes. My endometriosis, I would not say it was cured. I did not cure anything. I did not reverse anything, but I did aid in a lot of ailments that I had when I became a plant-based vegan. And then over the years with kids, I do eat some vegan junk here and there, and that is when I don't feel my best self. So knowing your body is a big, big part of being a vegan. Really listening to its cues and really paying attention to what foods make you feel good and what foods don't. Believe it or not, when you are vegan, you don't have to eat only salads. There's just like so many options for you out there. So if you are interested, I encourage you to try it. Again, not a doctor, not a dietitian, just a person with a personal experience that has been extremely positive with all of this. So my skin, I've never had any like terrible luck with my skin. Luckily, in my genes, I just didn't have any terrible skin. I, of course, was a teenager and went through all of the blemish stages, and that still happens to me now. But I think being a vegan contributed to my hormonal cycle, and I think that helped my skincare. So in a way, I think it really, truly did. And then on top of that, I am pretty strict when it comes to my skincare routine. Routines in general, not so much, but when it comes to my skin, very much so. So I wash my face every night, and I've switched everything over probably 3 years ago to oils. I use a lot of oils on my skin, and it's a lot of things that I grow in my garden. It's very important to me. The heat kicked on. I hope it isn't distracting. So yeah, when I became vegan, it became very apparent to me that I did not know what was in my food, what was in things that I was putting into my body, and I made a vow with myself that the only terrible things that I would put into my body were going to be caffeine and alcohol. So yeah, those were my, I don't know, my poison picks, we shall call it, but the rest of my diet and what I put into my body, I know what it is. I know what's going into my body. Everything that I grow in my garden, I can turn into something that I can put on my skin, and I think that's really important. If you want to see videos on how I make some of these things, let me know and I can do that for you. But I really enjoy doing it as well, so I think that really helps with my skincare. And then Colorado in general is so dry, so my skin, it's not naturally oily. I guess it's just like pretty neutral skin. Sometimes it's dry, sometimes it's oily, but in the winter time I do a lot of different scrubs, and I do a lot of sugar scrubs and things to get rid of that dead skin on my face, and I think that helps a lot. I haven't ever done any like chemical peels or Botox or anything. I have thought about Botox, to be honest with you, and I don't think I can fully commit to it, and I judge no one that does because I think it looks amazing on some people. My only problem area, something that I critique myself a bunch about, it used to be my teeth, but if you've been here for a while, I have gotten them fixed, and it was a life changer. I have just, I wouldn't say have built my confidence, but I'm just happy to talk to people without covering my teeth. So besides my teeth, it was this line, I think it's the 11s. I call it my mom frown line because I do a lot of this as a teacher or as a mom. So I think the only trouble spot that I have really that I don't like about my face is that line there. So if anything, I would try and figure out a way to naturally I don't know, not reverse the line, but aid in some sort of repair, because I'm never going to stop looking like that, especially in today's world. So I would love to find a natural oil or remedy to get rid of that wrinkle or line. So moving on, the top 3 places you'd like to visit or live. I mentioned one of them, Maine. My friend just moved there. I've always been interested in Maine and Vermont, anything up there, upstate New York. I just, anything I see, all very different states, but I really, really love that part of the country. Of course, I love Europe and everything, but just to narrow it down to the United States, definitely up in the upstate New York corner. I love the Pacific Northwest. And then I've also been really interested in Arizona and North Carolina, but I really am interested in like the Outer Banks and more of the smaller towns in North Carolina. I'm not a beach person, I will tell you that. Not a beach person at all. But when it comes to the quieter parts of those beach towns, I really like that. So I've visited the Outer Banks before and I really think it's beautiful. All right, another one. Teacher gifts. I'm probably the wrong person to ask because I love handmade stuff. I feel like I'm the only teacher that does. Anything the kids make me, I put in a binder every single year, just one of those laminated binders, and there's a date on it. I'll show you sometime, but I have them from the first year, or well, my student teaching all the way until this year right now. But I love when kids make me something. But of course, some favorites that I've gotten: Starbucks gift cards, Panera gift cards. Um, I've heard other teachers talk about they get massage gift cards and wine and like little spa packages. I know they love that kind of thing. Recently, I saw someone get blue blocking glasses. That's like a phenomenal idea because you don't need a prescription. They're like semi trendy and it's like helping out a teacher because we always have to be on these screens. So, blue blocking glasses, inexpensive and just a unique gift all around. Cookies, the kids love to make them and it would be fun to do together. So yeah, sweets, that's always a good one. Food gift cards, but me personally, I love all of the handmade stuff. All right, here's a pretty deep one. Biggest struggle as a mom. I have a bunch. I really do. My postpartum anxiety this time around has been a roller coaster, to say the least. I know I bring this up a lot, but when Delilah was in the hospital, that absolutely changed me 100%. Not a little part of me, the whole part of me. That took a lot out of me. It created anxieties that I never knew I had, and I've talked to someone about it, and it's helpful to talk to people, but mental health and support is also very pricey. So, talking to you all really does help me. I know it sounds silly, but it does. So, postpartum anxiety, and then this is going to sound random, but recently, I mean, our commute, I talk about this often, but our commute is long, and the kids cry probably 85 to 90% of that drive, and it's really hard for me as a mother to hear them cry and not know what to do. I'm sure some of you are saying just let them cry. That's easier said than done for me. It's very, very difficult for me to just let them cry when I am trying to keep us safe and all they want is a hug or attention, because it's such a long car ride. So that's a big one for me. And I've been recently opening up about this. I have some like postpartum rage, and I have realized it comes from when I am extremely overwhelmed, which unfortunately happens often as a teacher and a mother. If you are both of those and you don't feel overwhelmed, that's great. I think that's wonderful for you, but I have been extremely overwhelmed in the last year, and it's been really hard to navigate. So I notice my rage comes out. My children will never see it. Friends will never see it. My husband has seen it, but it's something that I do personally, and I never hurt anybody or myself, but I get pretty angry. So that could just be me like dancing it out, but I've been struggling with that lately, so that was hard to open up about. So please don't be harsh in the comments. Maybe you have some sort of coping strategy because it's been a little tricky. Some people say turn to exercise. If anything, that's just getting me more frustrated because I can't breathe. I never have been able to breathe and exercise in the proper way. My sister has definitely helped me with that in the past, with her exercises that she's given me. But yeah, those are my biggest struggles as a mom. I don't really if I get judged by other moms, I kind of shake it off and find that it's generally those mothers who are insecure, so that doesn't really bother me. Advice from family members, I don't mind it, honestly. A lot of people are like, I don't want to hear anything from any other mothers, but I find it helpful because there's like some sort of connection there. It's someone that has experienced something similar to you, and they're showing you how they handled it. So that isn't a struggle for me. I will say recently, when the kids are in daycare and they come home with incident reports, that's a struggle for me because I I see how students handle when they're wronged, and it's all across the board. I want my children to be strong, but I also want them to be the way I was raised, and to handle things with grace and kind of be kind about it. So, Wilder was hit at the other daycare and bitten and pushed down. He would come home and say that he was choked, which is not something we've ever discussed. And that was really scary. That was at a moment where I was dropping him off, and I didn't know. I didn't feel comfortable dropping him off there, so that is why we switched daycares, among other reasons. But that's been a struggle for me lately because I want Wilder to use his voice and be strong. He is such a lover, and that is what his teachers say all the time. He just wants to hug everybody, and I understand that some kids don't like to be hugged. They don't want them. They don't want him in his bubble. So we've been trying to talk about boundaries and just. We understand that you're excited to be around other kids, but we can't hug and kiss everyone. He does that. So he could walk up to a complete stranger and do that. He's just a friendly kid. He always has been. Delilah's definitely our shy gal, so she is not like that at all. So I guess handling and conflict resolution with toddlers has been a challenge lately. I'm sure my struggles will come with every season of motherhood, and I will keep you posted, but I hope that answered it. I would say postpartum anxiety still, Delilah's, a year and a half, but that is my biggest struggle right now. Someone commented that I seem peaceful and calm. I really think it is in my nature to be like that. Some people take it as me being like monotone or sad. You'll know when I'm sad. I tell you guys everything. So I generally have this presence about me. I would not say that I am the most patient, calm person, although it may come across that way. As a teacher, you need to remain calm. You need to be the safe person in the room. So I think that's where a lot of my mannerisms come from. And I did just tell you guys yesterday, I believe, that I was a bartender, so I spent a lot of my job listening to people, talking to people. Sometimes I had to get a little uncalm and kick people out, but I think the jobs in my past have really shaped how my personality is. I'm definitely more quieter than, who my husband met in college. Maybe some of you have met that Tori version of me, but I'm definitely more calm, but I am not as calm as it seems. So I keep running out of battery, sorry. So being peaceful and calm, am I always this way? No, I am not always this way. I got another question, favorite books. I'm going to get some hate for this. I don't read that often, to be honest with you. When I have time, I like to create. If I were to read, I do have a collection of Dean Koontz books. I think I have all of them. I really enjoy crime thrillers and things like that. So maybe once or twice a year I pick up a book, and it's going to be Dean Koontz or Stephen King. I love both of them. Probably not the most sophisticated authors out there, but I really enjoy their writing, and it keeps me pretty captivated for the whole read. So Dean Koontz, if you want to look into them. How do I manage stress? That's a fabulous question. I am not an expert on this at all, but personally, I like to cook and create, and I love putting on a good record and If it's summertime, sitting next to the fire, that's a big one for me. I love dancing it out by myself. I don't really dance in front of anybody. This probably is going to get frowned upon. Having a glass of wine really helps me, or some kombucha, the adaptogen kombucha with mushrooms, medicinal mushrooms. That really helps. CBD helps me a lot. I use CBD every single day of my life. It's changed my life, honestly. If you're afraid to try it, I really encourage you to do so. It's just an amazing plant. So many healing properties. I can't say better things about CBD and the plant that it comes from. What else? Manage stress. Back to the records. I love the classics. My favorite person to listen to is Stevie Nicks. I could listen to her for the rest of my life. I love Fleetwood Mac, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd. I love Terry Reid, Neil Young, just basically all the classics. I love Dolly Parton, Loretta Lynn. Just sitting down with a good record is such a huge stress reliever for me. I like to sketch, turn off all the screens, and that really helps. Really, really helps. And whenever a fire is involved, that really helps too. How do I stay in shape? I am flattered that you think I do. I need to be better at this. My husband and I talk about this because he stays in shape. Like, he exercises every day. He's awesome. And I eat healthy. So combined, I think we would be a pretty healthy human. But we're not a combined person. So I'd really like to be better at it. When I do work out, maybe once a week or so, or do yoga, I follow Maddie Limburger on YouTube. She used to be a vegan, but now she's switched to exercise videos. So I will link her down below. She's pretty awesome. I do my old gymnastics routines, and touching on that, I was a gymnast for a long time, and it created a lot of ailments in my body. I have osteochondritis dissecans, which is like an early onset arthritis in my knees, and I had surgery on them, but they get a little clicky, we say here and there, and with the weather, they start to ache and things like that. So I was a gymnast for so long. I always say that I'm taking a 30-year break on exercising hard like that. I do love to hike though as well, so that has always been a huge, huge form of exercise for me. The last question, my education. I went to high school. And I really loved art, and then I went to Keystone College and I just went for 2 years and then transferred to Bloomsburg University in Pennsylvania. I graduated with a degree in studio art and a minor in art history. And then when we came to Colorado, I transferred to Western State and got my master's in teacher leadership and studio art to become a K-12 certified art teacher. So that is the extent of my education. I do not plan on going back. I did want to be a museum curator, so if I ever were to go back for any sort of education, it would be for that. That would require a doctorate, so I would have to research where I would like to continue my education, but that's an if. So yeah, that was the end of the Q&A. If you have any other questions for me, drop them down in the comments. I am going to end this vlog here. I really hope you enjoyed getting to know me. Welcome to all the new people. Make sure you comment down below and introduce. Hey, guess what? My camera died again. If you are new here, introduce yourself in the comments. I try and comment back every single night, so I do see it. If I heart it and check it, I will get back to you. I promise. I love talking to each and every one of you, so anything you have to say down in the comments, please feel free. We are a very welcoming community here. So yeah, that is going to do it. Thank you so much for being here. As always, stay adventurous, stay creative, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye everyone.